All right, so today we are talking about Realtor.com Professional Search. This class is called Beyond Your Market Area, Realtor.com Professional Search. So Realtor.com Professional Search, it's a very long name. We call it RPS sometimes. But essentially what this is like Realtor.com, but with more information for you because you are an agent. So again, it gives you more information. This is a complimentary tool. It's included in your subscription, so there's no additional cost. Everything that I'm showing you today is included with that subscription, so you don't have to worry about paying anything extra. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're going to talk about how to access Realtor.com Professional Search. There's a few different ways, but I'll be walking through some of them for you. We'll be running some searches within the program, seeing how to search for properties. We'll be using the search filters to narrow down our search results. As you can see, you can also pull up search results here. We'll be looking at the property details. We'll be showing you how to save homes, and we'll also be looking at the map and the map layers. So why would you want to use, before we jump in, why would you want to use this program versus HomeSnap or let's see, our main MLS system, Prospector Plus? Why is that? Well, Realtor.com is a nationwide program, and it's serviced by uh, MLSs as well as county records. HomeSnap does this too, but this is another option. But as compared to Realtor.com, I'm sorry, as compared to Prospector Plus or even Realist, I can search outside of my coverage area. I can search in a different state if I want. This isn't a program that you're going to be using, I want to say, most of the time, but it's a nice tool to have in your tool belt. So if I had, let's say, a client who was moving to California from a different state, I could look at the home that they lived in the past and kind of see what their expectations are moving out to California. If I have a client moving out of state, I can actually refer them to a top producing agent in that other state. And again, still make some money there. Let's see, I could, let's see, there's so many different options with this. You know what, let's just go ahead and jump right in and I'll go ahead and walk you through all of these options. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull up my browser window. Here I am, and what you can see is I've signed into prospector.metros.net, I put in my ID and my password, and now I'm in my MLS dashboard. So to launch Realtor.com Professional Search, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and here you can see it in the regional and nationwide MLS access section right down here. And I'm going to click the Realtor.com Professional Search. Whenever you click on one of these little icons, a new tab opens up with that program or that link. And here you can see I'm in that homepage for Realtor.com Professional Search. All right, so what you can see here too is you see their logo. This is your home button. Whenever you click this, it takes you right back to this page. You can see that my name is signed in. It says Anthony. This would be your name. This is where they save your searches as well as the homes that you've decided to save for later. When you log into this program for the first time, it may ask you to sign in or sign up for this. That's not a way for them to send spam to you or anything like that. The whole reason that they have you register an account is so that you can save those homes and those searches. They have somebody to save them to, so that when you log into your profile, you can access that information. Now, you don't have to log in every single time. That's just the first time that you register your account. As you saw when I'll close this out again, when I click on this button right down here, it doesn't have me sign in again because we use something called the single sign-on. That means it takes my ID and my credentials from the MLS dashboard and brings me into this program right here. All right, we also have a search bar. This program uses keyword searches, kind of like how Google works, where I can put in the information that I want and it will start pulling me up the properties, which is really nice. They also have some examples, different shortcuts that you can use within the program. If you want to search by city or by school boundary, if you want to search by the data source being where's the information coming from, Ours would be Metrolist, but we'll be giving you more examples of that in a moment. They also have some news and insights about the industry, what's happening with real estate. You have things like trends, podcasts, unique homes. So lots of really fun information if you're just curious about looking through what's happening in the world of real estate. All right, so let's go ahead and let's give you some examples of how to use this program. So the first one that I want to show you is, let's go through the example of, I have a client moving in from a different state and I want to pull up the home that they lived in. Well, if you look at the little shortcuts right down here, you can do a search by owner name, and it says O colon and the owner's name. Now, John Smith, that's a pretty popular name, so you can also narrow it down by city first. So they did Campbell, California, O colon John Smith. So that is going to look for the John Smiths in Campbell, California. I'll give you a real world example. I'm going to type in O colon. Oh yeah, I was looking for Flea's house before. You can actually find that one when it went up for sale, but it's not under Flea, of course. It's not his legal name. But I'm going to do my grandparents' house up in Washington State. So I'm going to do O colon Turnahan. Now, I could narrow it down by putting their their full names. I could put it down by, I could narrow it down by putting in the city and the state that they live in, but Turnahan, not a very common name, so I'm just going to click search. And I'm in the map view. I actually want to show you, here we are, the list view, perfect. So these are the different results for Turnahan, and I can see, okay, well, there's Patrick Turnahan, that's not it. Let's see, Regina White, nope. And I'm going to scroll down, and here we are, Raymond Barry Turnahan. So this is my grandparents' house, and as you can see, it says off market. When they were selling it, they had all of those photos uploaded from that local MLS. So that's why you can actually see photos here. Some of these properties, it says photo coming soon. That could be because either A, the MLS removed the photos for one reason or another, or B, it could be because this was sold off market and it's pulling in the tax records. So you can see that it's pulling in that data. So, and then you'll also see some properties that are just off market that have not been sold, but you can still see, because of the tax records, there's that information right there. But there is one thing that I want to show you when you click on a property that is not on the market. I'll go ahead and click on that one. And again, this one was listed at one point in time. It's not for sale anymore, but you can still see the photos because the local MLS did not pull down the information, but you can still see all the nice photos right there. And we're going to be going through these full property details here in a moment, but one thing that I want to point out, when you're looking at a home that is not for sale, that is off the market, you get to see this one little piece of information, which is the home value. You can see how the home value has risen and dropped and risen again through the years. So that is something that you will see when you are looking at a property that is not on the market. But we will be going through all these property details with the property that is on the market, because you can really see some applicable information to you. We also have these little shortcuts to different sections of the page. I'm going to jump up to the top. The property details are, and let's just click Realtor.com professional search, and that's going to take us back home. All right, so that was a search by owner name. Let's do a different search. Let's do a search for a property that is, let's do a search for a different city in a different state. Remember that one example I gave you? You can actually refer your clients to different agents in different states and still make some money that way. So I have a client that's moving out to, let's say, Portland, Maine. So here we have Portland, Maine, all the way on the East Coast. And what you can see is that it's just suggesting where I can search Portland, Maine. And this is going to pull up all the properties in Portland, Maine. So you're going to see for sale, any price, but you can also search for properties that are for rent or expired or sold within a certain range, things like that. We're going to be going through all of those. But right now we're looking at for sale homes. And let's just keep going, let's see, off market. Let's go ahead and do that. So you can see all of the off market properties as well, but let's stick to for sale. All right, so now we have all of the properties right down here. And again, we're going to be looking through these. But one thing on the right-hand side that I want to show you is it gives you these statistical breakdowns of the area. So right here, it says Portland, Maine, and it says home values in Portland, Maine. This could actually be a really good opportunity for you to sit down with that client that might be moving and give them a little bit more information about the area. So you see the home values in Portland, Maine. There's the median listing home price per square foot right there. And as you scroll down, you see popular neighborhoods near Portland, Maine. So these are all different neighborhoods near that city. So what makes this neighborhood popular? Well, Realtor.com actually has this ability to take all of the searches that everyone is running on their program, whether it's Realtor.com or Realtor.com professional search. And the amount of times that a certain area, let's say West End Homes, West End, that's a neighborhood near Portland, Maine, the amount of times that that search is being ran brings it up the list. So the more often that search is ran, the higher on the list it goes. So that's what qualifies it as a popular neighborhood. But if they're looking in different areas, you can also click on this right here and it will rerun a search in this area. You also have the same thing for the zip codes if you want to search by zip codes instead. They also have popular cities right down here, so a little bit larger than neighborhoods. Counties right there. And then they have different bedroom types. So you could either select the bedrooms right up here where it says bedrooms right there. Right now we have any, but you could narrow it down this way as well. You also have more property types. Right now we are looking at any property type. You can narrow it down by single family homes. If your original search was single family homes, you could also do multifamily or mobile homes, manufactured homes, those options as well. And then you also have the listing agents. So this is what Realtor.com says are the top producing agents in the area. So let's go ahead and take a look at John Farrell. So I can click on his name. Here's a profile for him. You can see his photo. We also have his contact information. We can look through his credentials, his experience that he's added. He has 55 listings, ratings and reviews, recommendations, all that stuff. So I can contact John and see if he is planning or if he would like another client or if he has any other recommendations for me. So that's something that you can do to still get that referral from your client. So that's something that's really nice to handle as well, instead of going and getting a license to sell real estate all the way across the country. So I'm just going to close out of that page right there. And so that's how to run a search in a different state. And again, the reason that we did that so far is one, we have a client moving into our state, and then two, we have a client that's moving out of our state. So those are two different ways that you can run those searches and help your clients. Now, the last search that I want to run, let's go ahead and go to Realtor.com, click on our homepage, takes us right back here. And this is one that's a little bit closer to home. Let's go ahead and let's look down in Merced County. Now, if you're not familiar with Merced, we have a unique agreement down there where we cover the western portion of Merced. The eastern portion of Merced is covered by another MLS. Now, because of this, the agents that are down in Merced, they typically are a member of multiple MLSs. Metrolist and the other one I believe is called CRMLS. Now, that's already pretty expensive, which is frustrating from them, I'm sure. But also, it's very frustrating time-wise because they have to go to one MLS to search for the Metrolist properties, and then they have to go to another MLS to search for the CRMLS properties. Again, that's more time, more effort, more energy, and it's kind of frustrating. Well, what we can do if we are searching down that area is we can come right here to Realtor.com professional search and we can run a search right from here. So I'm going to do homes for sale in Merced, California. And I can run that search. I just hit enter, you can hit the search button. And it's taken those keywords for me and it's added that search criteria. So now I'm looking for sale. It's also looking for single family homes. We'll be going through this in a moment, but first I want to show you what why we're doing this in this program. So I'm going to scroll down here until I see a property that I noticed before. So we are going to look at this one right here. This is the nice one. So it says multiple listings found for 1618 Oregon Drive. It says listing 1 and listing 2. It's giving you some brief details. I can favorite this property right here. But right here where it says data source, it says CRMLS. This is where this information is coming from. But this program has found 2 separate listings from 2 different MLSs with the same parcel number. So let's go ahead and click on listing number 2, and because this is listing 1, and now when we scroll down to the data source, we can see that this is coming from MetroList. So the agents down in the Merced area, they don't have to run 2 different searches on 2 different MLSs. They can run one search and pull the data from both MLSs, so they're not wasting their time and they're not accidentally sending the same property to their clients, which I guess makes their life a little bit easier, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at some of this information. We have the listing agent, the listing office right there. We have all of the photos that you can see. Again, these are being pulled from the MLS. I can click on the photo. That's going to give me a nice full screen view. I also have a gallery down here. I could see where this property is on a map. So that's where it is on the map. I can also see a street view of this property. This is what the neighborhood looks like. I can also view this on Google Maps, and if the Google Maps driver has driven past this property multiple times, I would see the progression, just like you can in the Prospector Plus map. If I want to exit out of this view, I can just click on this little X right here. I can also save this home right here. Let's go ahead and X out of there. Now you can also see that it says open house right there. Because this agent added the open house information to Prospector Plus, it has been exported to this program as well. So again, if you do plan on holding an open house on your property, make sure to advertise it through MetroList, through Prospector Plus, because it's just free advertising for your open houses. So make sure to do that as well. All right, so we have all of those photos right here. You can also see the map view from right down there. They also have this nice little commute time calculator. So what you can do is you can type in your client's work address and hit calculate, and it will tell you how long it takes to get from this home to that work address, which is really nice. And you could do the same thing in Google Maps. It's just so nice to have it in one contained system. I like that they've integrated that. Right over here on the right-hand side, you can see the listed price. You can also see the estimated value. You can also see how much the property sold for last time. It was sold on in 1993, by the way. So that explains why it's so much cheaper. But you can also see who owned the property. I'm sorry, who owns the property, as well as the mortgage amount, and who previously owned the property. And depending on the property, you can see more or less of this information. Now, right down here, it says view property on realtor.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Before I do, though, I do want to tell you that right now we are looking at realtor.com professional search, and that's why we're getting all of this information. So one of the questions I get a lot is, well, why wouldn't I just go to realtor.com? Isn't it the same thing? Well, if you click on this little link right here, it's actually going to show you what you would see if you were to run this search on realtor.com. So you can see the information about the open house, you can schedule a tour, all that great stuff, but you are seeing the list price, you're not seeing who previously owned it, the estimated value, all of that extra stuff. So you can find more information on realtor.com professional search. So I'm going to close out of this tab, and remember, we just clicked on that link and a new tab opened up for us. Now from here, we can also save the home. So it just says saved. And now if I wanted to review that property, you can see it's right there for me as well. The customer reports, you have a short flyer and a long flyer. So these are 2 different flyers that you can print up. Let's go ahead and show you the short one. So I'll just click on that. Sometimes it'll ask you to log in again. Let's hit it once. And here's my flyer. I've added my photo in the dashboard that Realtor.com has. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But here you can see that it has a nice little flyer. Quick, I can download this, I can print this. Pretty easy to give this information to my clients. Let's close out of this. You also have the long flyer option right there. That's going to load up. Again, branded to me. Here's all of that information, photos, scrolling through the pages, taxes. Again, just a nice little report. Let's close out of that view. So those are two ways to print up reports for this property within this program. You can also click print listing details, but then it's just going to be formatted. It's just as if you went to here and then click the print button. It looks kind of funky, not very pretty, but you can do that if you want. I can add a little personalized note. Let's say something like, call this agent later. And this doesn't appear anywhere on the reports, or if you were to show this to your client, they wouldn't see this. This is just a place to keep your thoughts together. You can just save this little note there. And it just saves it right there for you. Now they also have a share button, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to click share. And it says, who do you want to share it to? Let's just send it to my spam account. Oops. This is where I send all of my spam. All right, so it gives you the option to send it. I'm going to click send. It says that your message is on its way. Let's go ahead and show you what that looks like real quick. Open that up for you. Loads. And here's that email. And click on that. And so this is what your client would receive. They would see Realtor.com, check out this property. It shows that property. It also gives some other properties that they can take a look at. But I do want to point out right here, let's go ahead and open up that property to show them. So we click on that link, we open up that property, and this is what happens. It takes them to that public-facing Realtor.com site. And from here, it says email agent, or to connect right away, you can call that agent. This isn't my phone number. This is not my email. So I do want to warn you, if you are an agent, and if you do click this share button, right here, let's just refresh that. If you do click that share button, it sends them this link right here. And this link, as you can see, is not branded to you anywhere. So always keep that in mind before you share that property to your client. I, in fact, suggest that you instead pull up a short flyer, download that, and then email that to your client, because that flyer is branded to you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some more of this information. You have the property details again. Because they've marketed their open house through Prospector Plus, you can see it right there. Moving down the list, we have bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchen, and dining. I like how they cluster those photos together. So if I just want to jump straight into a certain section because I like to cook and I'm concerned about the kitchen, I can go straight into the kitchen photos, which is kind of nice. You have all of those property details. I'm just scrolling through the list, and I could jump down to the public records just by clicking on public records there. I can see all of that information. Property and tax history for this property. Right there, you can see listing numbers right there. Here's the property history. And when you open up the property history, you can also expand it and see some more information. So this was March 31st, 2022. That was yesterday. And then I could come right down here again. This was more property history. But then you can also see this was sold back in '93. And if you open this, sometimes you'll actually see the photo from when it was actually sold too. So if there was a lot of transactions, you could see how the properties changed, which is kind of nice also. Now you can also see the homes around this area. Now, because Realtor.com's color scheme is red and black, this can be a little confusing. If it's black, that means that the property is off market. If it's red, that means the property is on the market, in fact, for sale. So you can see for sale right there for 480. It's red, but that's just because it's realtor.com. I just clicked on it to open up this property details, and if I wanted to jump straight into this house, I could just click on this photo right here, and that would open up that property. To close it, I just click out of there and it disappears. We also have nearby home values right there for you. We also have nearby schools. And what I like about this is if you're looking at this with your clients and they're interested about this school, this elementary school, they can actually click on the school. The new tab opens up. And now we have a full page for this school with a bunch of information. And it also gives them the phone number. You always want to make sure that if the client buys this house, there's no guarantee that their child will be going to this school. So you always want to make sure to give them the contact information and let them know that schools can be impacted. The boundary lines could have changed. So make sure to have them call the school and see if they were to buy that house, if their children could go to that school. But from here, you see the great schools rating, you see the reviews right there, 720 students, student to teacher ratio. You scroll down, you can see on the map, again, there's more homes for sale, homes for rent as well. Homes for sale near this elementary school, gives you apartments for rent, gives you test scores. There are those reviews that they're pulling from greatschools.com. And then also around that elementary school, they have different neighborhoods, also nearby cities and zip codes right there. So again, it's just a whole page dedicated to that one school in one nice contained place. Let's go ahead and close out of this tab right there. Move down the list a little bit more. They have the neighborhood. We also have a map right here. Now within this map, you also have some layers that you can put on the map. So for example, you can see the schools, and you also have the option to eliminate certain schools. You can give a minimum school rating. So if, there you go, bring that up to 5 maybe, and now you can see all of the schools that have a rating of 5 or more. Let's bring this back down. Now you can also eliminate the private schools, take those off. And when you hover your mouse over the schools, it'll actually show you the school boundaries. Private schools don't really have school boundaries. So I think, let's see, which one was it? This one right here doesn't have a school boundary. So that doesn't appear there because it's a private school. If I want to hide this layer, I just click on schools again and that disappears. They also have a crime map and we can zoom out. Doesn't look like there's a lot of crime down there in Merced, so that's nice. But typically you would see it has a color coding to different levels of how much crime's happening. They have a lifestyle section right there where you can pull up coffee shops right there, grocery stores. Here's a grocery store. And if I click on, let's click on a different one, Save Mart. What's this one over here? A&M Markets. So you see all those options. They also have restaurants. Here's a couple of restaurants. Joe on the Go Cafe has 4 stars. And if you actually want to, you can click on that link. New tab opens up, and now you're at the Yelp page to take a look at that restaurant and see all the great food that they have there, all of the reviews. Great stuff here. And we got to that just by going down to the neighborhood map, clicking on lifestyle, and selecting restaurants. They also have gas stations, pharmacies, coffee shops, all sorts of great things. They also have public transportation, so you can see what the traffic looks like going from A to B. They also have public transit, if they have any, and then bike lanes too. So if your client likes to bike, get some exercise, they can see all of those different trails there. Now they have this really great community report. This is one thing that's really great if your client is moving from a different state to this area. It really helps them to see the change that they're going to be going through. For example, you got the average household income, age groups right there, education, owners versus rent. They also have a nice little payment calculator. I don't want to forget about this up here, but you can see the full community info report by clicking on that little zip code right there. This pulls it up by the zip code. So here's that report. Again, this is something that could be printed or, so right here you can print this, come down to print, depending on which browser you're using. I'm on Chrome, so it's up there. But we can scroll through the list and you can see all of that really great information to really let your client know that you are the neighborhood expert and what to expect in this area. You can also pull up the same reports for the properties that they're leaving, so you can have a side-by-side comparison and show them the difference of what they're leaving behind versus what they're coming to. So I think that's just a really nice report to have. All right, so we got to that report by coming down to the community info and selecting that zip code right there. So let's keep going down. There's that payment calculator, and then you also have some homes in the area, homes around there. Let's go back up to the top. And let's go ahead and go back to our list of results. So that's what you see whenever you click on one of those properties, one of those on-market properties. If the agent also had a virtual tour of this property, you would also see that included in the property. I don't think I see any right now. Let's see if they see, there's the photos. Yeah, I don't think I see any right now, but that's okay. You would see those there as well. All right. So here we are looking at our properties. I'm just going back to the top of my list, and I can see that I found 235 properties that match this search criteria. Well, this is nice, but what if we want to narrow it down a little bit more for our clients? What if we want to either look at properties that are for rent in the area, or maybe some properties that close within the last 6 months, just to get an idea of how those properties are changing? You can also do a date range as well. But you also can narrow it down by price. So let's say I want to look, somewhere less than 600,000. Or I could also do 600K and hit the enter button on my keyboard, and it's applied that search criteria right there. Now we're down to 210 homes. I can also add bedrooms. Let's say we want at least 3 bedrooms, and let's do at least 2 bathrooms. It's added that search criteria. Now I'm down to 170. I could add more property types, so maybe they're also interested in townhomes, so I could include that as well. And then we could also add more filters. Now, when we click more filters, this whole page changes because it's all coming up from this little tab right there. So let's go ahead and add that. So I could do a keyword search. In the example, they've given us granite countertops, remodeled properties. This searches the entire property details. So let's say you're looking for a property that is further out east. You can search for a propane tank and you would see properties that have that propane option there. So lots of information there. Even though it's not in the public remarks, you'd still be able to see that. So that's a keyword search right in here. You can also add amenities. Right now we have a 2-car garage views, if it has a basement, if it has a pool. These are just the most commonly used ones that Realtor.com sees, but you can expand this where it says more, and you can see a whole bunch of more amenities to search by, narrow it down. So let's say I wanted a property that has multi-stories, because I like 2-story homes. I can add that one. Now I'm down to 43 results. I could scroll down a little bit more. I'm looking for at least a 2-car garage. Where is the garage? Why isn't it in the parking section? Well, it's because it's all the way up here, 2-car garage. So I can add that. Now I'm down to 40 properties. And as I'm moving down the list, I can add all of those different features. You have up to 3 in each row, but you can also click more, and then you'll see a couple more pop up. So if you wanted a den or office, I could select that. And now I'm down to 2 results. I'll deselect that one. I don't want to eliminate too many of them. Now, what I can also do is I can hide foreclosures, I can hide new construction, I can hide pending properties. This program considers pending properties for sale as well, but I can hide those. And on the other hand, though, if I wanted to target new construction, right down here it says property status, I can click on new construction. I can pull up new listings. I can pull up open houses that are listings that are having open houses. So you can really focus in on what you're looking for. This up here is to avoid. This is here to focus on. I can narrow it down by lot size, home age, data source. I think this one's kind of counterintuitive personally. If I just wanted to look at only MetroList homes, I could click in that search and I can type in MetroList right there, MetroList. But you know, I think, oops, lost my filters. I think it's kind of counterintuitive because the whole reason to use this program is to search for properties that are not in MetroList. So that's why I like to use any data source. Let's see, you can expand the search area by a radius. So right now I can expand it by 5 miles away from Merced, and you can see that the properties might increase. Let's go ahead and do 10 miles. Now I'm up to 36 properties. I can also include search nearby areas. So in this example, let's scroll down a little bit more and let's go over 25 miles. I can open that up and you can see all of these homes that are over 25 miles away from Merced. Now I can't run one search and have it search in Merced and Sacramento, for example. But what I can do is I can add on other cities to expand the search area. So if I also wanted to add, let's see, Goosting, right there, I can add that one and that would start pulling in homes. However, it doesn't look like there are any homes that match. I can add, let's see, Dos Palos, maybe not. La Grande, not there. Let's open up this more about Livingston. Oh, and now I'm up to 44. So I can search within those areas as well. So that's nice to have that ability. All right, so now that I'm happy with those results, I can click View Results, or I can lower those filters right there, click More Filters, and they disappear. Instead of going through and eliminating some of them as well, I can also come through and close them off right here from this little breadcrumb trail. All right, so 2 property types, single family home, condos, and townhomes. There we go. All right, I can also organize them by which one's the newest, open house dates, largest square footage, all of that great stuff right there. Now, we've ran a search for properties, and if I'm running this search all the time, if I'm running this 5 times a day, 7 days a week, I don't want to have to put in this criteria every single time. Well, you can actually save this as a saved search, and that saves this criteria. So right now we have 174 homes. Tomorrow when we come in and run this, we could be up to 180 homes because 6 new homes were added to the MLS. And then we come back the next day and we can be down to 170 because 10 of those went from a pending to a closed status, or they were pulled off the market, whatever. It updates the information because you're not saving the 174 homes, you're saving this search criteria right there. And it says saved, and if I scroll up to the top where it has my name, you can run that search right there. It says Merced, California. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you an option to update the name, but that's a suggestion that we've made. All right, so this was a search and we were looking at the list view. Let's go ahead and look at the map view because they have some map features as well. So we have that search as well right here, and you can look at all of these properties, and if you hover your mouse over one of the homes, you can see it highlight right over there on the map display. So let's see, do we have the home that we favorited? Well, I'll just go ahead and favorite this one. I'll click that little heart and you can see that it's added that little heart symbol right there to that property. You can also see if there were any recent updates like price decreases, you would see them reflected here, or increases. If it is a relatively new property, then it would have a little dot next to it, but I'm not seeing any of those changes right there. Now, right now I'm searching in Merced, but what if I wanted to also search in, where was it? Livingston, Atwater. Let's say I wanted to search in this area too. I can also click this search when moving map. That's going to remove that map boundary, and now I can see all of the homes in Atwater. And this one has a price decrease, this one has a price decrease. You can see all of that information right there as well. You also have your layers included. Now, the last thing that I want to do, let's go ahead and go up to Sacramento, just really quickly, just so you can see something. Sacramento. And I'm just going to, oh, I missed it. So right over here is your breadcrumb trail. I'm just going to clear those filters off. And I'm going to focus in on condos and townhomes because there's just one thing that I want to show you real quick. I clicked on it, I click on the map, it applies those changes. And I'm just going to zoom in with the scroll wheel on my mouse. You could also do the plus or minus icons right there. But if you see a property has multiple units for sale in the same building, it appears like this where it says 2 units, or it'll say more units, but you can click on that and you'd see the drop down menu. So there's 1 unit and there's the second unit. This is 6C, this is 4A. So I just wanted to point that out really quickly so you can see what that looks like. All right, let's go back to the, oh, one last thing. If you scroll in really close to the map view, you'll start to see these little parcels and you'd see these little gray pins right there, and it's giving you the automated valuation. That's just an estimate of what Realtor.com thinks that these properties are worth. You can click on it and you can click on that property right there, and that's going to pull up that property detail page for you. So here's that property detail page. Now remember, you can print the listing details. You can't really print this one as a flyer because it's not on the market. I'm sorry, you absolutely can. I misspoke there. So waiting for this to load. Let's try that one more time. So this property, for example, right here it says customer report. You can still create a short flyer or a long flyer from here. If you recall, I was able to pull up a flyer and it had my photo on it. This is actually pulling a photo from when it was last sold. You can even see it says Metrolist. If it doesn't have any market information because it wasn't listed in the past, you would see a street view here instead. But how did I add my photo to create those flyers? That was right up here on your professional dashboard. You will probably have to set up this account. I just use the same email and password that I use on Metrolist, and that's how I created mine. But yep, my profile still looks good. I can add a profile photo. You can see all that information right there. Okay, got it. You can also add different features here like your listings. You can take a look at your listings. I don't have any listings. Contacts, you can have your contacts in here if you want. Let that load up. So you can add any of those, my team. So a lot of that information as well. Performance, summary, lead report, all of that great information. Go ahead, check it out, play with it. Lots of really cool stuff. You can also pay to upgrade. I do not pay to upgrade, but you can as well. Let's go ahead and close out of this, close out of this, close out of this. Now that's one way to access the Realtor.com information. The last thing that I want to show you is within the Prospector Plus view. So if you like those reports, when you're in Prospector Plus, you can actually pull up some of those reports as well. So I'm just going to open up Prospector Plus and just pick any property that pops up. So you could have ran the search from your auto prospecting, from your Market Watch, which is what I'm going to do. You could also have pulled up a list of properties from your search results, whether it's a standard or a map search, what have you. But let's go ahead and pull up just any old property. Let's pull up a list of properties. And let's talk about maybe this one right here. And I'm going to open up the full listing detail page by clicking on the listing number. Again, I'm in Prospector Plus right now. So let's say I'm running a search for my clients. I'm finding all sorts of great properties. I like this property. And I want to pull up that community report for my client. But do I have to come all the way back here, open up Realtor.com, run a search for this listing number or address? Actually, there's a little shortcut right down here. Here is the Realtor.com property report. I can click on this button right there. A new window is going to open up for me. That's going to load up. And here I can see all of that property information. So if it was listed in another MLS, you would also see that second listing here as well. But you have all of that information. If you like that, you can save it, and it will save it within that Realtor.com professional search program. You can also just jump straight into the community report right here. Click on that, that opens up, and here is the community report for this property, so you can see all of that information. So that's just a little shortcut that I like to share with you if we ever have any extra time, which it looks like we do have a little bit extra time, but we're doing pretty good. Not a lot of questions today. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our PowerPoint, make sure we didn't forget anything. So we talked about a bunch of stuff today. How to access the program. We access the full program from going to our MLS dashboard and selecting Realtor.com professional search, but we also access the data from in Prospector Plus by clicking on a listing detail page and pulling up that report at the bottom of the page. We ran 3 separate searches, one by owner name, one by city and state, and then we also did a keyword search to pull in all of those things like if it's for sale and single family homes. We applied the search filters, which was the bedrooms, bathrooms. We also did the more filters and pulled up a 2-car garage, multi-story properties. At the very bottom, you can also search by multiple cities at the same time. We also looked at our search results, all of the information that you get once you select a property, and we looked at those details. We showed you how to save homes. Whenever you see that little heart, it shows you how to save a home, and that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to show you how to actually pull up those saved homes again. So let's do that one more time. I'm just going to click on Realtor.com professional search. That page is going to open for me. Now, if I ever want to pull up those saved homes or those saved searches, I just come right up to my name. There's all of the homes that I've saved. I can also click view all. Here's the saved searches. I can also click view all. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can see there's this nice page. I can delete this. I can delete this one too. I can also go to my searches. I can delete any of these searches, but you can't rename it or anything like that. If I wanted to rerun it, I can just come right down here. I wonder why that highlights. That's strange that it highlights, but I can click run this search, and then it reruns, pulling me the most up-to-date information. Again, this program works really well if you're looking at an area that is outside of our main coverage area. All right, and then we also looked at the properties on the map as well as the map layers. Don't forget, all of these webinars are recorded, so in about an hour or so, you will receive an email from GoToWebinar. In that email, we'll have a link to this exact recording so you can rewatch it and take it as slow as you need. If you don't get that recording for whatever reason, go ahead and give the training department a phone call, give us an email. We're happy to send that right out to you. No sweat there. If you need immediate assistance and the training department's not getting back to you quick enough, it's probably because we're in classes a lot like this one. You can actually call this number minus the extension. That's going to take you to the main Metrolis phone number. From there, you can talk to the tech support team, who's well-versed on all of our programs and applications. They are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and Saturdays and Sundays from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And they'd be happy to help you out as well. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today, learning a little bit more about your subscription with Metrolis. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon. Hope to see you on the next webinar at 2 o'clock. And I'll stay on the line just in case there are any questions. But if not, please have a fantastic day, and I hope to talk to you all real soon. Thanks. Well, I'm not seeing any questions coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and end this webinar so the follow-up emails can be sent out. But thank you again. Please have a great day. Hope to talk to you all real soon. All right, thanks.